Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now. I know that right now, fans of the Washington Commanders are feeling a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty. There's a lot happening that could shape the team's future, especially when it comes to their wide receiver core. And one of the biggest pieces of this puzzle involves a potential trade that's been buzzing around the NFL circles, a move that could totally shake up the division and set the Commanders on a new course towards Super Bowl contention. That trade is the possible acquisition of DJ Moore from the Chicago Bears. And trust me, this isn't just another rumor. It's a deal that makes so much sense when you look at the current state of the team and the division. Right now, the Washington Commanders are facing a pretty tricky situation with their star wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. He's entering the final year of his contract, and there's a real possibility that he might hold out if things don't get sorted out soon. McLaurin has been a cornerstone of their offense for years, the kind of player who can take over games and be a true game changer. But with the contract negotiations dragging on, there's a risk that the Commanders might not have him at full strength, or worse, they might not have him at all when the season kicks off. That's where the idea of trading for DJ Moore comes into focus. It's a move that could provide immediate stability and star power at the receiver position, especially if McLaurin's holdout becomes a reality. Let's back up a bit and analyze why this trade makes so much sense, not just for the Commanders, but also for the Bears. Chicago, after investing heavily in their receiving core in the 2025 NFL Draft, seems to be open to moving more. They drafted Colston Loveland with the 10th overall pick and Luther Burden at 41st, which tells us they're building for the future and might be willing to part ways with Moore, who's been a reliable but not irreplaceable piece in their offense. Remember, the Bears picked Rome Odunze just last year as a first-round receiver. So they're clearly investing in young talent and might see Moore as expendable, especially considering the financial commitments and their draft capital. Now, from the Commanders' perspective, acquiring DJ Moore could be a game changer. He's under contract until 2030, with his first out clause only coming in 2028, which gives Washington a long-term asset at the receiver position. That's huge because it means they don't have to rush into long-term extensions right away, and they can focus on building around him and McLaurin if the latter stays with the team. The deal being discussed, at least in theory, involves the Bears receiving a 2027 second-round pick and a 2026 sixth-round pick. Now, the sixth-round pick might seem minor in the grand scheme, but it's a nice sweetener in a trade that could significantly boost the Commanders' offense. And let's not forget the current situation with McLaurin. As I mentioned, he's in the final year of his deal and is eager to get paid. If the negotiations drag on, or if he feels disrespected or undervalued, the risk of him holding out or even requesting a trade becomes real. That's why acquiring Moore, who is under contract for several more years, gives the Commanders a strategic advantage. They can keep both McLaurin and Moore on the roster, creating a formidable duo that defenses will struggle to contain. Moore's presence would allow Washington to have two top-tier receivers, with Samuel sliding into the WR3 role, which is still a very valuable position given his skill set. Looking at the bigger picture, adding Moore to the roster could dramatically improve the Commanders' chances of making a deep playoff run. After an impressive first year from quarterback Jaden Daniels, the team looks primed to make a splash in 2025. The odds are already in their favor. FanDuel has them at -130 to make the playoffs, which isn't too shabby. But what really excites fans is the potential to go beyond just making the postseason. With Moore, the Super Bowl odds jump to +2100, which puts them right in the mix of teams that could surprise everyone. They'd be just behind teams like the Los Angeles Rams at +1900, and if they manage to keep McLaurin, Samuel, and Moore all healthy and firing on all cylinders, it's not hard to imagine the Commanders making a real push. Adding more isn't just about immediate success, it's also about setting a foundation for sustained competitiveness. With both Moore and McLaurin as top-tier options, the offense becomes more dynamic and unpredictable. And let's be honest, when you have a receiver like Moore, who's shown he can be a difference maker with his speed, route running, and ability to make contested catches, you're giving your quarterback, Jaden Daniels, the tools to elevate his game even further. And that's key because a young quarterback needs reliable weapons, especially in the NFL's competitive landscape. You might be wondering, what about the other side? Well, the Bears, while potentially losing more, are clearly focused on building around their young core. Drafting Loveland, Burden, and Odens shows that they're betting heavily on the future. They might be willing to let more go if the price is right, especially since they've got a lot of young talent coming up and are probably looking to accumulate draft capital for future seasons. The 2026 sixth-round pick in the deal could be seen as a minor price to pay for a proven receiver like Moore, who's still in his prime and can produce immediately. Now, I want to pause here for just a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. If this trade were to happen, it would send a clear message to the NFC East and the entire NFL. The Washington Commanders are serious about contending now. They're willing to make bold moves to strengthen their roster and maximize their window of opportunity. With the addition of Moore, they could turn a promising offense into a powerhouse that defenses will have nightmares about. It's also a strategic move, giving them leverage in negotiations with McLaurin, knowing they have a top-tier receiver ready to step up if needed. Of course, everything hinges on the negotiations, the willingness of the Bears to part ways, and the evolving dynamics of the NFL trade market. But the potential here is huge. Washington fans should be excited because this could be the move that takes the team from a playoff hopeful to a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And let's be honest, in this division, every advantage counts. The Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants are all formidable, but adding a receiver of Moore's caliber could be the difference maker that pushes Washington over the top. Looking ahead, if the Commanders can keep their core intact and add more, they might be looking at a very different team come December. The NFL is unpredictable, but with the right pieces in place, Washington could surprise a lot of people. And for fans who have been waiting patiently for the team to take that next step, this move could be the catalyst. It's all about timing, negotiations, and vision, something that if executed well could have ripple effects throughout the NFC East for years to come. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. Do you think this trade makes sense? Are you excited about the possibility of more in burgundy and gold? Or do you think the team should hold out for other options? Whatever your view, we want to hear it. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're in this together, and the future is looking bright if these moves come to fruition. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's continue to support the Commanders, because the best is yet to come.